You're welcome to the Economy and Politics Show. I'm Ottoabasi, Abasiekong. This edition will discuss opportunities for deepening regional investment and economic activities in Nigeria. Joining me virtually for this conversation is Otunba Bimbo Ashiru, Chairman, Odu'a Investment Company Limited. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me. I thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Let's begin with your perspective on the proposed reversion to a regional structure of governance. This is designed to support shared growth and development in the country. We remember prior to independence, we had a strong regional system. What is your take on this move?
Well, that's a very good question. And I've been wondering how we want to navigate through that. Because I want to tell you this. I remember as a young man, and I remember somebody mentioned it to me, one elderly person, my father's friend, that Western region borrowed federal government, central, 12 million pounds there, those days. But you see, the regional development under the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo and late Akintola, they were well coordinated and leveraged with competitive advantages. And that is what formed the so-called, the regions are now working, the Bendel State was part of Western region then, and they were coordinated, they were competitive. They were taking advantage of areas where they have competitive and comparative advantage over others. And I will give you a good example. I was in London recently and I was talking to the people doing cocoa. And I said to them, Nigeria was the second largest exporter of cocoa globally in the 70s. And the funds realized from cocoa was what they used to build the Cocoa House, 25-story building in Africa, the first television station in Africa. And you see, what I'm trying to say is that when you look at that trajectory, you now find out that it is not easy to do all those things and convert them to something. But you see, the point is this. Don't forget that those days, things were different. You find out that Nigeria was less complex. So it's not going to be a smooth transition, I can tell you, to go regional, because Nigeria is less complex, making the most of the state system and power. I think we should make the best of what we have. But I can tell you, I don't support that we keep on going to the central cap in hand. I don't support it. States should be able to look at areas where they have comparative and competitive. Look, cocoa, rubber, we should go back to agriculture that will lead into industrialization. Let's be honest with ourselves. In the north, I remember Cadbury, when they were bringing in barley into the country. Barley was very expensive. But during the foreign exchange thing, they went for sorghum and empowered all these farmers going sorghum in the north. And they say, not through their blessed. And that's where to say the pyramid, the pyramid did not. So what I'm saying in essence is that regional thing is a bit tricky. It is, we can have it in a different way. In America, they have their own so-called federal structure. But the law in New Jersey is different from the law in New York. New York is the state that sued Trump, a former president of America, and convicted him. So what I'm saying is that, you see, we need to be matured. We need to balance these things and understand what exactly we want. So, but I can tell you, we have to make the best of the most state system and prioritize our people focus. Policies can be used to deliver growth. We must be focused, and our leaders must have genuine intentions, genuine purpose. We don't have sincerity of purpose. But during the time of Awolowo introduced free education, they did everything, and those funds that they realized, they pumped it into a focused thing. They introduced agriculture, and that's how Odu'a Investment came in. That's how Lafarge, Blue Elephant, they got them from London. They came in. That was how Nigerite came in as a value chain. 90% of the raw materials for Nigerite is from Lafarge cement. So what I'm saying is that we need to look at all these things and get it done.
Get it done. And you just mentioned again the great sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who was a great premier of the Western region. And also, I remember the late Samadu Bello. These were leaders that understood the value of regional governments and
Namdi
Abasiekong. So, definitely, that conversation is going to be very critical in National Assembly. There has to be a balancing. Even former governor of Anambra State said at the platform, we cannot afford this structure again. So we have to really come to that place of real negotiation. But let's go and
before you go, let me tell you, I support single house. I don't think we need the House of Representatives and the Senate. I think they should collapse it or make it not a full-time thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a strong one. Now, let's look at what has been working. I mean, a model. The integration amongst the Southwest regional economies is remarkable. I mean, just recently we saw the Southwest Governors meeting in Lagos, and of course, Governor Babajide is now the chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum. But I just want to ask the strategies that are in play to raise more foreign and local direct investments in the states with Odu'a Investment Company Limited as a pivot. You're there as the chairman. And also you mentioned that recently you were in London. So tell us the feedback from your recent visit discussing investments and how Odu'a is also playing in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can tell you, see, the issue of integration, it gives economic integration and is essential for collective growth and development of the Southwest. Southwest states, the 6 of them, they are the 4th largest economy in Africa. And I can tell you, if you look at the focus, I mean, I'm a bit probably partial now. I can tell you when I was Commissioner for Commerce and Industry in Ogun State.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
Ogun State was number 36 in terms of ease of doing business. But by the time we started our revolutionary strategy to bring in the dividend of democracy, Ogun State became the industrial hub of Nigeria.
Yeah.
75% of foreign direct investment at birth in Nigeria then, it came from Ogun State. So Ogun State has the limestone, I mean, which are there. Yeah. So you can continue to dig it. I mean, the belts went from Odobolu, Benin, not Republic of the Benin, to Republic of Benin. But the point is this: we need to be focused. We need to understand what we really want. Southwest, I can tell you, with the 6 governors, you could see that they had a seamless, after the, may God bless the soul of Arakuni Akeredolu, after his death, there are only 2 governors that are most senior, apart from Governor Seyi Makinde, who happened to be the vice president of the Governors Forum, or chairman, vice chairman, or president of the Governors Forum, Nigerian Governors Forum, which clearly shows that Governor Aman Abdulrazak is the president and Governor Seyi Makinde is the vice president. So to balance it, you now need a Southwest Governors Forum chairman. It's either between Governor Abiodun or Governor Sanwo-Olu. But they unanimously agreed among themselves, and they made Governor Sanwo-Olu the chairman. But having said that, it didn't create any animosity. You could see that they were all coordinated. You see, we need to coordinate the planning and investment. It can help to attract capital. Yeah. And you see, areas and identify industries or infrastructural investment. And let me tell you one thing: the areas they now should look at the areas where they have comparative and competitive advantage. That's how you need to do. For example, you say, okay, in Ogun State, what are your core competence areas? Oh, you have cassava, you have cocoa, you have rubber. What do you have in Oyo State? What do you have in Ekiti? What do you have in Ondo? What do you have in Osun? Osun, they're mining gold now. So when you bring them together, and that's why we said Southwest, Odu'a is being owned by the 4th largest economy in Africa. So the focus is that they must coordinate their planning, and they must look at how they will attract it. And you could see that they are competing. You see, there's nothing wrong in competition. You must be able to compete among yourselves as governors. And that is the focus. I can tell you, I met somebody in the north said, how have you been able to survive with this Odu'a? That this is the only state-owned investment. I met somebody in New York during the hunger, and he was introducing me to Robert Kennedy's son. And he said, this gentleman standing here is the chairman of Odu'a Investment, a large conglomerate in Nigeria. And the guy said, what do you mean by that? He said, it's just like New York State, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Maryland State, Delaware, and mentioned another state, Boston. That is just like those states coming together and have an investment. They have investment company, and this is the chairman. And the guy looked at me and said, wow, that is who you are. Because he knew the magnitude of it, that how somebody can share jointly owned investments of states as shareholders. And that is what and let me be honest with you, with what is happening in Odu'a now, we have the support of all the 6 state governors. They gave us, in the last 4 years, and before, I joined in as a director, I became chairman 3 years ago. No single governor had ever called and say, oh, Bimbo, or any of the directors that do this for us. No, They are giving us the necessary support. Where we need support, we call them. We have meetings with them. So that's what I'm saying, that with this, it has really helped us a lot. And that is the focus. And that's what we are looking at. So the Southwest integration is a welcome strategy. By time they finish these things, they'll be a source of envy to other states in Nigeria.
Yes. Otunba, Odu'a Investment Company Limited remains, like you rightly said, the best managed regional company in the country. I mean, when we look at what has happened, I mean, 2023 financials that came out, net gains on financial assets increased by 13%, dividend grew by 43%, and rental income by 28%. Interestingly, you've been paying dividend to shareholders now in over a decade of over 3 billion naira. That is quite remarkable. But a major aspect is, what has been the key to the company's transformation to the level that you attracted recently an investment grade A rating from Agusto Co. Agusto Co is a leading investment rating firm in Nigeria. I mean, that must be a lot of transformation work that has happening there. So talk to us about the transformation plan and how this has come into play in the impacts and the financials and the whole value chain.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you what happened. 4 years ago, the owners, the shareholders, the 6 state governors, they dissolved the former board because they found that there was too much politics going on and people were more interested in their own personal interest. And they said, look, gentlemen, what should we do to bring this in back? That the founders of Odu'a Investment, what they did, we must improve their legacy. We must ensure that we bring back that old glory. That Odu'a used to be something that people look up to those days. And we said, we're fine. They now appointed, each state governor now brought out professionals. I happen to be a beneficiary from that, from Ogun State. Oyo State brought in by Sashini Adeoye's son. Lagos State brought Dr. Tola Kasali, a former commissioner, a medical doctor by profession. Ekiti brought in Dr. Mr. Segun Olujobi, who was a former AssetCentric, a consultant. Osun had Chief Segun, Dr. Segun Aino, who happened to be an ex-banker, was actually a boss to some of us in the banking industry, a mentor to some of us, representing Osun. And finally, we have, I think I've mentioned Ondo. Ondo had Chief Segun Ojo, who was a super accountant, a former commissioner for finance. And they brought us up. Then we now introduce some things. I know. For us, for the issue of corporate balance, corporate governance balance, we must introduce independent directors. We got KPMG to interview so many people. And we brought out the first 5. We screened them, we did interview, and we scrolled down to two ladies. One of them, this is Felicia Olaniyan Owen. She was a former MD of UAC. This is Ottoba Debola Oshugogun, the former banker.
CIBN,
CIBN, God bless you. So you could see that we've been able to do that. And not only that, we now want a step further, that we need to bring in executive directors. So the executive directors we brought in were people of corporate, unblemished track record. With that, we're equipped. And we had an MD there that has been there for 6 years, who has been having problems, and he had his own vision too, and mission. And we're able to combine that. With that, we're able to have professionals on the board, and we improve our corporate governance. And we're determined to make a success out of all those results. First of all, we started with, we realized that Wemabod is a subsidiary of Odu'a. And Odu'a Investment, we are doing real estate. It doesn't make any sense. Father and son cannot be doing things together. We now said, no, let us move all our real estate business to Wemabod. And we're able to achieve that. Then we now found out that, look, Odu'a has never gone into drilling, oil drilling. What is all this? We applied for it, and lo and behold, we won. I mean, we won the marginal field, OM95 in Ondo. But the point is that I don't know how they did it. They got some people to partner with us, and the 6 governors wrote a letter to Mr. President Buhari, that, look, we can afford to pay the $6 million. Please, we want to go ahead and do it alone. But, I mean, as usual, nothing happened. But we went ahead, and so we have 48.26% of that beta marginal exploration. And we paid our acquisition bonus. Then after that, we now said that we have sweat all the assets. And all the assets we have, we brought them back. The ones that are moribund, if we can revive them, we revive them. The one that we need to sell off, we sell off those assets. And lo and behold, when we look at Premier Hotel, I said, look, let's do something about this. Today, Premier Hotel is under construction. We are increasing the room from 87 to 200 rooms. They are building a tower, 10-story tower that we merged. Yes, if you drive to Ibadan, you see that we're going to have a mini
Premier Hotel Ibadan, yes.
Yes, and you see the building. Then we've received so many interested parties now that are talking to us about Airport Hotel. We want to do something like that there. But you see, the point in Ikeja, Lafia Hotel, people are talking to us. We want to do. So what we're trying to do is we are sweating the assets. What we want to do about Airport Hotel is about 68,000 square meters. We are not going to deal with charlatans. I mean, recently I went to the stock exchange and went to tell them that we are willing to woo genuine investors who are willing to invest and partner with us. I mean, look at our real estate. If you go on Gerald Road, opposite the Deputy Governor's house, we just finished up 18 Odu'a Wemabod address home. So, and we just commissioned something at Ikeja. We're doing 40 units of these townhouses and everything. So basically, we are focusing on bringing back the glory of what the late Femi and his team, Chief Adkintala, So the point is that with the new board we are focused, we are highly focused, and we have encouraged what they call corporate governance. If you appoint somebody on the board of Odu'a and he has to spend 4 years, the directors are entitled to spend 4 years, an additional 4 years, making a total of 8 years maximum. But if somebody is in the process of spending the 4 years, no governor can come in and replace the person until the tenure expires. So that creates continuity. And I have good news for you too. The managing directors, we have decided that we must have succession plans in our system. For example, the MD just left in March. We announced the new MD who is starting 1st of June. And the guy was from the system, but we did what they call competitive bidding, interviews and everything. And he came top. He was the group financial director. Now he's the group MD. We did the same thing in Wemabod. We said they should bring in people from outside. KPMG, I think it was Deloitte that did Wemabod. KPMG did. And we want to do that throughout our subsidiaries and associates. So with that, we'll be able to equip ourselves to ensure that even by the time I leave the system will be running smoothly. And that was the strategy. And I would invite you to go to Cocoa House very soon. If you go to our 21st floor, you will think that American. Yes, if you go to our 21st floor, you think, and we are doing the same thing from the ground floor reception. In the next 6 months, when you go there, you see a different place. We invite you to come and look at it. And the same thing, Wemabod, all our subsidiaries, we are ensuring that we maintain that. And those are the things we are focusing on to ensure that Odu'a is back with the old glory of what we had before.
You know, what you've just shared is part of what ProShare has been advocating for the federal in terms of asset optimization. So with this kind of stories, Wemabod, various assets being effectively optimized, and you already discussing with the Nigeria Exchange Limited, that shows that there's going to be prospect also for some listings where required. And that's the kind of thing that would like to hear.
I have good news for you. I can tell you now, we are now picking and choose because we have so many investors who are interested. So we want to pick the best out of them, making the best of the situation. So, and that's what we are working on. And another thing I want to let you know is the fact that we are willing to talk to any investors who is willing to do joint ventures with us in terms of our real estate. And all our states, all the 6 states, we are present in all those 6 states. For example, Ekiti, they are setting up a center for MSME there. We have a beautiful real estate. Apart from agricultural farms that we have there, real estate, we have about 40,000 hectares that are arable for farming. So most of these things, yes, I mean, we are doing a lot in Yewa area, cassava. We have about 10,000 square meters that we are working. So we are working, I mean, we want to ensure that by the time we leave Odu'a, we'll have sure that we are dogged and we are determined to make the success of, against all odds, we are determined to achieve it.
This is remarkable. And of course, like I said earlier, recently the Southwest Governors met in Lagos and they all came together with that communique to work together to strengthen food security, to strengthen industrialization and also cost infrastructure. You've shared a tranche of asset optimization, but let's look at the role you'll be playing more in catalyzing that infrastructure investment, and even industrialization in the region? Just in...
Okay, let me tell you this. Like I said to someone, it is important, if we want to achieve this, we need to ensure that we create that enabling environment. We must put necessary infrastructure in place. We are talking about agriculture. Yes, that's the language. Bring food to the table. But having said that, there is need to create that environment. There is need to put necessary infrastructure in place, storage facility, good roads that will. You see, our rural dwellers, they cannot. A journey that will take you 20 minutes, take them 2 hours. They are discouraged. Preservation, they have issues. Then people are not encouraged. So we need to encourage. And another problem is funding. How do they get cheap funds? I mean, I remember when I was commissioner in Ogun State, we did that. We partnered with Bank of Industry, and I told the MD of Bank of State that we are going to pay a cost visit to him to discuss how we can achieve that. So the point is that we have dreams, we have this, but how do we actualize it? We need the support of our shareholders. And I can tell you, we have their support as usual. But at the same time, we still need, these infrastructural things, the rural areas, they need to be, because the farmlands, there is need for good roads that will take them, for services going up and down. Because if you don't do that, then there's a problem. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. There's a big problem. Yeah, because if you don't put the necessary infrastructure in place, then there'll be problems. So we need to make sure that we put that one in place. And our focus as Odu'a is to be the engine room for the economic growth of the Southwest. We want to attract investments into the region as much as we can. We want to leverage our resources to accelerate development. And at the same time, we want to provide opportunity for partnerships. So that's why, and I tell people, presently, Premier, we have 30%, and the foreign investors, they have 70%, Premier Hotel. And I always tell people, 1% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So our focus is to ensure that we have the right caliber of people, and I believe, we got on our side. We're on the right direction. That's our focus.
Otunba, in addition, what a very interesting conversation we've had. But in addition, what are the potentials shifting from that output-centric approach? I know you've talked a lot about the manufacturing, investment in manufacturing, but to an asset-centric approach where you can begin to invest in places and spaces that yield long-term earnings and cash flow. So you've talked about Wemabod, and you've talked about reviving even hospitality, Premier Hotels and Ikeja Hotels, which would be very remarkable. What in terms of long-term, strengthening this? I like what you said about governors who come, you strengthen the institution in a way that if governors come, they can't change it. But long-term, all these sectors, even mining, oil and gas, will be quite remarkable. Investing in places and spaces that will create that long-term value and cash flows.
Let me tell you this. As I'm talking to you, Odu'a is not owing any bank a dime, a penny, a couple. When we talk about liquidity, we are liquid. But one of the things is that being a banker myself, and we have so many veterans on the board, we ensure that we play in the stock market too. We do a lot of investment there, but we are very, very conscious. We are determined, and we know what we are doing. So we buy shares and we trade. We do a lot of trading. That's why we have the chief investor. And by the way, I want to tell you that we attracted a young guy who lives in Houston, Texas. We employed him, we interviewed him, he was part of the people that we interviewed. He's the group chief investment director. And we have a space there whereby our investment team, they're looking at long term, and we are very, very determined. We are focused on that. And we are deliberate. So we are not using our SS funds for mundane things. And don't forget that we get our dividends. I won't mention names. We get dividends of as much as 1 billion, 1.5 billion from our different investors where we have shares. We have shares in some companies. By the way, I'm sure you know that we used to have we are still the single largest shareholder in Lafarge. But Odu'a used to have as much as 40% of Lafarge, but probably now we have less than 10%. But despite that, we still get good revenue from them. Same thing goes to Niger, right? And Wemabod, we are so conscious and deliberate about their performance, and we watch. I think a few days ago, they have Customer Appreciation Day. They've organized so many, and then we went for road shows in England. whereby we invited, and then we have this real estate in Alakia, Ibadan, West Wing. When the former vice president won election, he went there and he spoke with some young and he encouraged them. Those guys came to Nigeria. And I was happy that it was one that commissioned that 106 housing units in Alakia last year in February. I was really happy that he did that because he was reaping the fruit of his labor. So those are the things and that's the focus. And I can tell you this, if you are deliberate, if you are focused, and you have genuine intentions, rest assured this country will go places.
Yeah. Thank you, Otunba, Bimbo, Ashiru, Chairman of Odu'a Investment Company Limited. Indeed, you've demonstrated through leadership and through the OICL that it is possible to have strong regional investment vehicles that can drive economic activities. And we can say that Odu'a Investment Company Limited is now a benchmark for regional investment vehicles in the country. And me, from the South and several other regions who want to see that happen, taking the template of what OICL is doing. So thank you once again for this special session on the show, and we look forward to further conversations as we're going to see more of asset optimization, listing of some of those assets, and the value created further for shareholders, but in overall, the regional economy, the Southwest. Thank you once again for the time, Otunba.
And thank you once again for having me. And we are willing to South, northern areas, we are willing to support them and consult for them to be like Odu'a.
Yeah, thank you once again.
Thank
and
you.
Have a great day. Thank you. Thanks. So our viewers, if you want to get further insights on this conversation, visit the ProShare website displayed on the screen and follow our social media platforms to engage further on this show. Till we come your way again, enrich yourself with the knowledge of socioeconomic activities around you because it's an important thing to do. I'm Ottoabasi, Abasiekong. Thank you for watching and bye for now.